What is up, bros? Me, Josh here. In today's video, we're going over one of the new operations to hit World of Warships, one of the two Halloween-themed operations in World of Warships, and this one is saving Transylvania. If you guys played last year about the same time, there was the same kind of escort mission. This is basically the same as last year's, but with some little tweaks and a little change here and there, but obviously still kind of the same premise. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be escorting Transylvania from the start of it through some foes and then being able to deliver the candy at the end. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to do one of five things. As you can start from 1 to 5 stars, and then of your rewards as you 5-star it can get better and better and better. Up to a day of premium, 24 hours of premium. You can get a whole bunch of camos, some elite commander XP, and if you 5-star, you can get 1 day of premium. So it is kind of fun. It's different. You can play some different ships and then just have some fun with friends. You can actually start a division up to 7 people with a maximum of 3 battleships, maximum of 4 cruisers, and a maximum of 3 destroyers, up till 7 players. So whatever you want to do. And this actually is a lot of fun. I do like these. They do a lot of work, as you can see in the port. They made a special port for the Halloween event, so this is really, really cool. And it's definitely worth checking out. At least get the premium, and you can keep repeating it until you get the 5-star. Once you basically get the 5-star, then you're basically done, and there's no sense in really repeating it. So getting to that 5-star, I do recommend rolling with as many friends as possible, because if you do pug this, it is pretty brutal to get a 4 or 5-star, although they did make it a tiny bit easier this year. But you can pick one of 3 ships. There's a destroyer, a cruiser, and a battleship. The Blade is the destroyer. Very, very important later into the game. Getting the floods on the relative bigger ships, especially the boss at the end. Igor is the cruiser. This is basically a modified St. Louis, a bunch of Tesla coils. Really, really cool graphics on these ships. I do like how they do this, and you can also rumor is you can get some pretty cool permanent camos for ships like this. And this is a very, very important ship as well. And the Jackal is what I drove. The Jackal is another really cool looking ship. Look at those cool fists right there. And what you can do. This is a really important ship to have some good players in, because it is important to take down the catapults and the bigger ships as you go on. So let's get into the gameplay. We'll kind of talk about it more and more, and I'll kind of show you what we use, what plans and strategies we use to get through this and 5-star it. So here we are live in the operation, and as you can see in the top left corner, there's a primary task and secondary task. Now the primary task is just to basically get Transylvania, the ship right there, to the final gate to deliver the treats. And what you do is by getting her to move, the more people that are in her circle, the more the quicker she'll end up moving. And if you do all the secondary tasks, those are going to be the 5 stars that you need to get the final rewards. So I am in the Igor right now, which is a modified Nassau, and our main job is to take out these big catapults, because these big catapults will absolutely murder your destroyers. The damage is insane, and they'll just absolutely wreck you. So apparently the shells aren't coming out now with the replays, so that is exciting. So you're just gonna have to imagine the shells coming out. But so escort Transylvania, making sure the doesn't take lose more than 50% health of her hit points. Eliminate all foes, which is basically just taking out 16 of the Zkas of the attacking ships, and suppress the catapults. We've done 2 of the 10 right there. It's very, very important to focus them down. And also, you need to keep Transylvania moving at all times, so she cannot stop. And what happens is, if any ships get into that green circle, they will completely stop it, and you will then lose your star for that. So it's very, very important to focus down the ships that are very, very close. Like this one off to my left. Luckily, the Mikasas move very, very, very slowly, and so you can kind of focus on them a little bit and kind of focus them down. But it's very important to kind of focus fire. That's why running some extra destroyers is very important. We went with 2, as you can see our breakdown, we went with 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 3 destroyers. So it's very kind of a good breakdown. One thing they did this year was make it a little bit easier, and because they gave the healing, they gave Transylvania a little bit of a heal this time, as well as going in, you're able to go in. As you can see, one of our walkie-talkies is taking a decent amount of damage. He does have the ability to heal up and get a little bit of his health back instead of just absolutely getting destroyed. As you can see, he's on fire from one of the ships, and he said he was getting destroyed by the Mikasa secondary. So just be a little bit careful there. One thing you don't want to do is have too many people. We try to keep about 3 to 4 people in the zone. Mainly our 2 cruisers, the modified St. Louis's. We kept them in the middle group the entire time, and if one of the destroyers wanted to get in, they could. But we kept both of our cruisers in there. It kept Transylvania moving, but not too fast, because if you get her moving too fast, she will just then push right into the attacking ships, and you'll basically lose that star right there. So we've eliminated three foes already, the 3 Mikasas, and took out the 2 catapults. Now, if you have to prioritize targets, it's always going to be catapults first on this, then attacking ships. Now, of course, if attacking ship is very, very close, you can, of course, you want to focus that just so you don't make the Transylvania stop. But the catapults are going to do way more damage than the other ships, and you want to really, really focus on those. So, as you can see, we're trying to get targets, and this is a full group right here. We ran all 7, so it does make it easier. We were able to 5-star literally the first time we tried on this. And one thing I gotta say, Wargaming does do a pretty damn good job at just making these events look good. Graphically, these ships are cool. Yes, they are kind of the same ships as we did last year and we used last year, but overall the effects are looking good, the map looks good, the port looks good, the ships are unique, and really I find these events, although I'm not a big PvE guy and I think the operations have great potential, I'm not a super big fan of them because, you know, there's only so much you can do. I wish they would add a bit more of a replay value to these. I think there's a great potential, maybe like a PvE only campaign that would be fun to do to unlock some stuff for a lot of the PvE stuff. But they did a really good job just graphically against this, and I really do think it's a lot of fun. So back to kind of the operation. As you can see, one is getting pretty close, so we just wanted to focus that guy down. The Mikasa, the Zikasas, oh no, they are Mikasa, but they're called Zikasas, are very, very, very slow. So as you can see right here on the map, these guys we probably don't have to worry about at all because they're so slow. As you can see, the guy behind me too, I'm not really focusing on him at all. He's not really shooting at anybody, and it's really just all about focusing on the guys that are kind of in front of the ship. If they're in back, they're almost never going to catch it because they're so slow. So I focused on the guys as much as I could in the front, and then when I can, I'm going to be able to switch to this guy in the back and just do a little bit extra damage to just kind of help the team just in case something goes down. But really, we're kind of running this, as you can see, we're pinging on the map. Since a lot of people have done this before, and of course you remember from last year, we're able to kind of prepare a little bit more and just really get an idea of where those catapults are, because as soon as they are active and as soon as they pop up on the map, they're going to be launching damage at you. So you need to be very, very careful and just be ready to focus all guns on those guys. One thing that's also a really smart thing to do is to start laying smoke once you get into kind of these close quarter combat areas, and laying smoke for Transylvania, because you can potentially do that, and you want to keep her above 50% or else you're going to lose that star. In a group, it was relatively easy because there was really good coordination. We were on comms. But in a public group or a pug, you're gonna potentially have some decent troubles. If you've ever tried to do some operations with just random people, there's not too much coordination, and that's why I recommend running with people as much as you can. But it can be a little tough. So it's gonna be hard to 5-star this with random people. So especially if you're in a clan, it's definitely worth getting a couple friends together and at least putting the odds in your favor with as many people as possible. Even if you don't have comms, I mean, you have in-game chat too, I guess, but getting as many people as possible together. And it's just fun. It's a fun event. It can be challenging with the new tier 8 one coming as well. That should be pretty cool. And as you can see at the top too, we have a little tracker saying how many people are in the zone. This is where it starts to get a little hectic, because what it does is it basically pinches the map down and you are basically funneled in, and things are starting to spawn very, very close. Luckily, this is a Nassau, so the secondaries are pretty nuts, and we were able to kind of keep the secondaries. I ran an AFT captain on this. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, just want to keep these guys relatively close and just kind of dunk them down. So we're seeing a replay without the actual shells going out, so I don't know if it's just this Halloween event or what, but it looks kind of weird not seeing actual shells go out. So this is when it starts to get a little hectic, because you are going to start getting some things spawning pretty close. They have a decent little health pool, but just focusing everything down, you shouldn't really have a problem And this is also one thing that's kind of a bummer, is there is, as you can see right here on the map, there is a catapult that is up, but you don't have a shooting angle. So this can be a very sketchy time, especially if one of your destroyers are maybe low, or Transylvania is near 50%. It's very sketchy because that's going to start launching damage at you, even though you can't hit it. So just a heads up on that one. Right now we're at 7 suppressed catapults, so we're almost done with that. Eliminating foes, we still have a little while, but at the end there's a decent amount that spawn. Transylvania still hasn't stopped, and she's very, very healthy. I believe she's almost full life, because if you're able to just kind of keep the damage down, yeah, as we're calling out the catapults right now, as you keep the damage down, she can just constantly heal with that 30 health tick. So she's able to stay relatively high as long as you're doing a decent job. So just focusing the catapults down, that's the main thing, because they will absolutely smash. I mean, they could probably two-shot your destroyers. So there's 2 down right there, catapult almost down, and there it goes down another smoke. And as you can see, like, these Mikasas are gonna, or Z-Kasas are gonna spawn very, very close at the end. So just be very, very aware. But focus the ones that are in front, not the ones that are in back, because you just won't be able. As you can see, I'm healing a little bit right here, which is nice. That was one thing that was added this year, which is pretty nice. There's the first citadel we actually got so far. Walkie-talkies going in. Walkie-talkies are very, very important going against the last boss on this, because what you want to do is you want to really focus on the boss and get flooding on him. He has a lot of life, and what he does is he basically charges. He does like a kind of a little move, and he charges the Transylvania. So that's one, it's going to stop Transylvania, and 2, it's going to make you lose that, and then just do damage to Transylvania. So there's potential to lose 2 stars and even fail it right at the end. So it's very, very important to force, because he's going to repair basically instantly. It's very important to use your DDs to get the flooding on him, slow him down, and we kind of use some MLG strats on him, and kind of use our 2 big battleships. And this is actually a decent idea if you want to use this strategy. Decent idea to kind of just guarantee the win at the end. Right now, though, we do have 5 ships in the zone, so we are moving pretty quick. So you don't really want to have this many ships. We have 5 of our 7, and we are pushing Transylvania very, very fast. So it's a little sketchy. As you can see, me and the other Igor are kind of pushing to this side. We're getting ready for the big boss to come out, and there he is. There's the Nikolai. There's Rasputin. And what you want to do is you want to finish these little guys off first, and me and the other battleship are going to push basically Rasputin and get kind of in his face and tank that damage. But you want to take out these small guys first, and you want to force the repair on Rasputin. So basically your battleships can focus on the Z-Kasas, taking them down, and let's say your destroyers are all going to start focusing Rasputin. It's very, very, very important. Let your cruisers, and as one of our destroyers goes down, so luckily surviving everything isn't mandatory, but let your cruisers and your battleships focus on the Z-Kasas, and have your destroyers focus on Rasputin, because they want to get that reload. They want to get the repair on him and be able to just then focus on him. So as you can see, Rasputin kind of turns a little bit. We are still moving way too quick, so we actually got pretty sketched out here. Rasputin basically goes that way always, and then we'll start pushing straight into smoke. So we have all 6 of our ships in this little area, which is really, really, really bad. So that means, one, we're pushing our ship closer to Rasputin, who's about to turn almost straight into us right here. So focus in on getting the guy on a repair cooldown. Focus on getting him flooding, and really try to avoid too many people being in the zone. We did a really bad job at the set. So what we did is he's flooding right now, which is really, really good. He's taking a decent amount of damage. So what we did at the end of this was basically use our 2 battleships to ram and to get extra damage on him, because it's really, really close. So we're going to actually block him with our battleships. I actually end up missing it, and so does our other battleship. Well, not miss the ram. Our other battleship misses the ram, but I end up missing it because of the smoke effects. Wargaming, I love the smoke effects. They look amazing, but my god, does it block views. So I thought I was good on this angle to make him kind of push to the outside, and then I ended up missing the actual angle I wanted to, but we ended up slowing him down a decent amount. So I went in for the ram, did a good amount of damage to him, and guaranteed that flood damage. And the main thing was slow him down. Now our other battleship is going in, which would have been a guarantee, but he completely whiffed it, so that was a little sketchy. And down goes our other destroyer. Luckily, though, he's going so slow and taking so much damage, we were end up to just take him down. We kept 2 people, as you can see. We kept our 2 other cruisers in there, and down he's gonna go. GG, easy. And there we go. We completed. We banished Rasputin. We delivered Transylvania. She's above 50. We killed all the catapults, and we killed all the targets we needed to do. So you can use our strategy. It worked really, really well. 2 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 3 destroyers. Keeping the cruisers inside, letting destroyers get those floods in, and you guys can do it. Go in there, have some fun, guys. 5-star. And that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys like this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.